From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya Sarachandra.
And I'm Dishan Virakon, and we start off by taking a look at your headlines for tonight. 7 suspects with 15 kilograms of heroin have been arrested. President wishes speedy recovery for US President Donald Trump. Former Defense Secretary says he and the former IGP became targets of certain groups following the Easter Sunday attack. The Interdicted magistrate has refused to accept the content of the recording of the alleged conversation between him and MP Ranjan Ramanayaka. Corn will be cultivated in 20,000 acres of land in Kantale. Trump in hospital as more allies test positive.
Now, in your top story this evening, 7 suspects with 15 grams of heroin were arrested by the officers of the Kandy branch of the Narcotics Bureau yesterday. The suspects were handed over to the Anti-Narcotics Bureau in Colombo for further investigations. Now, acting on a tip-off by the Kandy branch, officials of the Anti-Narcotics Bureau conducted a raid in Koswatha of Kirimatiana area last night. First, they apprehended the suspect with 360 grams of heroin. According to the details revealed by the suspect, the police launched the second phase of the operation. They arrested 2 people with 2.2 kilograms of heroin and conducted further interrogations. Based on the information received from the 2 suspects, police searched a house in Kirimatiana and recovered 13.4 kilograms of heroin. Several other suspects with drugs were also arrested from Dematagoda, Kalaniya, Petta and Mount Lavinia areas. In another raid conducted in Migoda Batwal area, police arrested an underworld criminal, Ashan Madhushankar, alias Tilak Bada. Now, in the meantime, US President Donald Trump has spent his first night in a military hospital where he's receiving treatment after testing positive for coronavirus. Quote unquote, going well, I think, unquote, President Trump tweeted late yesterday. US media said his symptoms included a mild fever. He has so far been treated with an experimental drug cocktail injection and the antiviral medication. In exactly 1 month, Trump faces Joe Biden in the presidential election. The president's diagnosis has ended his campaign and also cast doubt on his attempt to get a new Supreme Court judge confirmed before polling day. In a memorandum late yesterday, Trump's physician, Sean Conley, said, quote, "I'm happy to report the president is doing very well," unquote. The president, being 74, a man and someone categorized as obese, is in a high-risk category for COVID-19. The White House said he was flown to hospital out of an abundance of caution and would be there for the next few days. First Lady Melania Trump, who has also tested positive for COVID-19, has had a mild cough and headache, Dr. Conley stated. The list of other people to have tested positive around Trump include close aide believed to be the first to show symptoms, campaign manager Bill Stephen and former White House counselor Kellyanne Conway. Republican Senators Mike Lee and Tom Tillis have also tested positive. President Trump remains in charge. Vice President Mike Pence, to whom under the Constitution the president would transfer power temporarily should he become too ill to carry on his duties, tested negative.
In the meantime, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today expressed wishes for a speedy recovery for President of the United States Donald Trump and his wife Melania Trump, who tested positive for COVID-19 in the early hours of yesterday. Talking to his official Twitter account today, the president posted, quote, "I wish speedy recovery for US President Trump and First Lady Melania from the COVID-19. Prayers of the people of Sri Lanka are with you in these difficult times," unquote. President Rajapaksa tweeted. The US President and the First Lady were tested for COVID-19 after one of top aides, Hope Hicks, was confirmed positive for the virus on Thursday. President Trump was moved to the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda today, where the White House said he would remain hospitalized for the next few days.
Now, Sri Lanka commemorates the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. A special ceremony to mark the event was held at Temple Trees under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The world honours Mahatma Gandhi for his role played during the freedom struggle of India. In 1927, he visited Sri Lanka and held a lecture on Buddhism at the Ananda College, Colombo. He held similar lectures at Gaul Mahinda Vidyalaya and several other locations as well. During his tour in Sri Lanka, Mahatma Gandhi visited many cities including Kandy and Jaffna. Floral tributes in Colombo was led by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Deputy Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Vinod K. Jacobs, State Minister Ajit Nawad Cabral and several other key officials participated in the ceremony. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa held discussions with Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera at the Abhayarama Temple in Narayanpeta yesterday. Religious policies that could be adopted in the process of political, economic and social activities in the country was the main topic of discussion. The Prime Minister met the devotees at the temple and held cordial discussions. A little child made a request through a letter to the Prime Minister asking to provide a house for his poor family. Prime Minister Rajapaksa instructed the chairman of the National Housing Development Authority to take necessary measures regarding the request. Several ministers including Maithripala Siriwardena also accompanied the Prime Minister.
Now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the nation in paying homage to iconic freedom movement leader Mahatma Gandhi at his memorial in New Delhi on his 151st birthday anniversary yesterday. Modi, along with other leaders including Indian President Ramnath Kovind, offered flowers at Rajghat and remembered the father of the nation on the occasion. In Mahatma Gandhi's primary abode, Sabarmati Ashram in Western Ahmedabad city, and prayers were held with a minimum presence of people without any elaborate programs because of the prevailing pandemic conditions. India observes October 2nd not only as Gandhi's birthday anniversary but also as the International Day of Non-Violence, the ideal that Gandhi fought for throughout his life. Gandhi, who was born in 1869, played a key role in India's fight for independence. He was assassinated on January 30th, 1948, almost 5 months after he led India to freedom from British rule through a non-violent struggle.
Now, former Defense Secretary Hemasiri Fernando said former President Maithripala Siriwardena made him and ex-IGP Pujit Jayasundera the main figures responsible for the Easter Sunday attacks because former President was expecting to run for a second term. Now, Fernando said the action against him and Jayasundera 2 days after the bombings without conducting an preliminary investigation because Siriwardena believes he would not be able to run for presidency once again if his reputation is tarnished. Fernando made this comment in his testimony to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the 2019 April 21st attacks. The witness said that the statement made by Maithripala Siriwardena on 23rd April 2019 that Jayasundera and himself were fully responsible for the bombings was a very vicious statement that could be made as a head of state. He further said that under instructions, President informed him and the former secretary to the President not to take part in the special meeting convened by then Prime Minister immediately after the Easter Sunday attacks. Fernando said on Easter Sunday morning, IGP and State Intelligence Director Nilantha Jayawardena made several phone calls to him. He said that Nilantha Jayawardena informed him there could be an attack targeting Methodist churches but not on Catholic churches. Answering the questions of the Additional Solicitor General, former Defense Secretary said one of his friends informed him about the bomb blasts and then he visited the inspected blast sites. Then he said former President phoned him and informed to not take part in the meeting convened by then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe under any circumstances. Fernando told the Commission that he felt so helpless when he was compelled to obey the order of President Siriwardena. President's counsel Anil De Silva, appearing for former President, cross-examined Fernando. He questioned the witness whether he had the opportunity to speak to Sirisena on his return to Sri Lanka after a foreign tour on 21st April 2019. In response, he said he could not speak to the president as he was on his way to Colombo directly from the airport, and added that he could not be reached over the phone too. When questioned as to why he resigned from the post of Defense Secretary on 25th April 2019, Fernando said that Sirisena has instructed the then IGP to take responsibility for the attack and to resign. He had also been promised a number of privileges, including an ambassadorial post in any country of choice if he resigned. The witness further said that he had informed the president at the time that former Director of State Intelligence Service, Senior DIG Nilantha Jayawardena, was responsible for not preventing the attacks, as he used to forward intelligence information to Sirisena directly. The president's counsel questioned the witness if he had failed to take any action as the Defense Secretary on the information received that National Tawhid Jamaat and its leader Zahran Hashim could launch a terrorist attack. In response, Fernando said on the day he received it, he realized the seriousness of the matter and referred the same to then Chief of National Intelligence and IGP. Hemasiri Fernando said former President Sirisena made an address to the nation following the Easter Sunday attacks and held responsibility towards him and IGP Jayasundera for the terrorist attacks. He said his displeasure to the president for his action without any inquiry, and then tendered his resignation from the post of Defense Secretary. Later, he informed the Commission his health condition was not good and requested another date for further interrogations. The Commission granted permission for his request.
Now in more stories, a special religious drive to offer the first portion of the new harvest of the Yala season was held at the historic temple of Tooth Relic in Kandy this morning. Ministry of Irrigations and the National Combined Farmers Organization jointly organized the religious activity. Large number of farmers gathered at the Sri Dalada Maligava this morning to offer the first portion of the harvest to the Holy Tooth Relic. Paddy harvest from various districts throughout the country was offered at the religious event. Minister Chamal Rajapaksa and State Minister Anuradha Jayaratne took part at the religious ceremony. Minister Chamal Rajapaksa met Chief Incumbent of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuwave Sri Sumangala Thera, and obtained blessings. The chieftain of the indigenous Vedas community, Uru Varge Vanilatto, also visited Malwatu Mahavyare and obtained blessings from the chief incumbent Thera. The chieftain invited Most Venerable Tibbatuwave Sri Sumangala Thera to take part in the upcoming religious ceremony of unveiling the pinnacle of an 80-foot tall stupa newly constructed in Davan. Vanilatto praised the new program of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to visit rural communities with an aim of looking into the problems of those poor villages. Now, the government has taken steps to cultivate corn in an area of 20,000 acres adjoining to the sugar factory at Kantale. Uplifting the agriculture is a key point in the election manifesto of the new government. The sugar factory in Kantale has been closed for 26 years. Therefore, the government has decided to use the land of the factory for cultivation purposes. Seeds to plant at the new farmland were also distributed among the farmers. Minister S.M. Chandrasena and State Minister Janaka Wakkumbura also participated. State Minister Wakkumbura pledged to reopen the sugar factory following a tremendous task of renovation of the facility.
Now, in the meantime, Minister Kehelia Rambukwala has pledged to launch a new award ceremony only dedicated for provincial journalists. He made these comments at a ceremony to declare open the district media unit in Kilinochchi. He further said that the program will be conducted under the auspices of the manifesto of the government, Saubhagya Dakma. Today is the second day of the media program in the Northern Province, jointly organized by the Ministry of Mass Media and the Government Information Department. Kilinochchi and Vaunia districts were covered today under this program. District Media Unit of Kilinochchi was declared open by Minister Kehelia Rambukwala. It is the 25th District Media Unit opened under the new program. With this, a chain of 25 media units covering all 25 districts in Sri Lanka have been established under the program. A district journalist forum was also also held to coincide with the newly established media unit in Kilinochchi. Problems faced by regional correspondents have also been focused on by Minister Rambukvella during the meeting. State Minister Sathasivam Vyalendran, Director General of Government Information Department, Nalaka Kaluava also took part in the occasion.
Now, the interdicted magistrate Dhammika Hemapal has refused to accept the content of the recording of the alleged conversation between him and MP Ranjan Ramanayaka. He made those comments while giving evidence at the Presidential Commission on Political Victimization today. The Commission is inquiring a complaint made by the former Secretary to the Ministry of Economic Development, Dr. Nihal Jayatilaka, related to the actions taken at the Divinaguma Department. Interdicted Magistrate Dhammika Hemapala gave evidence before the Commission for the first time today. Former Secretary Dr. Nihal Jayatilaka made a statement earlier mentioning that he was arrested on the 22nd of April 2015 along with former Minister Basil Rajapaksa on the allegations related to the incidents of providing compensation and bonuses to the workers of the Divinaguma Department who relinquished their services voluntarily. In that statement, Dr. Jayatilaka said that he was produced at the Kaduvela Magistrate Court around 10 p.m. on the same day, and Magistrate Dhammika Hemapala was also at the court during that time. Dhammika Hemapala said he came to the court premises following an official telephone call. During the session of questions by Senator Jayasundera, the lawyer representing Dr. Nihal Jayatilaka, he admitted that the call was made by the director of the FCID. Lawyer Jayasundera questioned on the incident of Dhammika Hemapala discussing about court cases with politicians. The interdicted magistrate said he never discussed official matters with politicians. Then the Commission paid its attention on the phone recording of a conversation between parliamentarian Ranjan Ramanayaka and Dhammika Hemapala. Former magistrate admitted that he met Ranjan Ramanayaka at the residence of Dr. Carlo Fonseca in the latter part of 2017. However, he refused to admit the content of the recording of the conversation between him and MP Ramanayaka.
Now on to more local stories. The Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation telecast a number of special programs today to commemorate World Children's Day. Now the programs were organized following strict health regulations.
ජාතික ළමා දිනය වෙනුවෙන් ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය දැය දූදරුවන් සඳහා අද විශේෂ වැඩසටහන් රැසක් සංවිධානය කළා.
Almost all programs of the national television were dedicated today for the children of the nation. The string of programs were commenced with Saturday Ayubovan morning show. A special art contest was organized by the production team of Ape Pay children's program using modern technology. Regular children's programs such as Kurulantagi was also given a facelift to mark World Children's Day. Talents of the young generation were displayed during those TV programs. The national television pledges to do the best for the young generation of the nation.
ඇඟිලි 10 අපේ මොලේ තියෙන ප්‍රධානම කොටස් 10ත් එක්ක
දෙන්නම එක වගේනේ.
ත්‍යාග ලබා දෙන්නත් කටයුතු සූදානම් කළේ. චතුරිකා සෙව්මිනි පුංචි නංගි. නේ ගිය පැයේ අපේ ජයග්‍රාහක ජයග්‍රාහී නංගිල මල්ලිලා කවුද කියලා.
දැන් අපි සූදානම් වෙන්නේ. පළමු පැයේදී මාටින් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතාගේ වටිනා පොත් කට්ලෙට අදාළව අපි අහපු ප්‍රශ්නය තමයි මාටින් වික්‍රමසිංහ ශූරී.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has stressed to make a drug-free country, paving the way for a healthy and moral Sri Lankan society. He made those comments in his message to mark the World Temperance Day today. Prime Minister Rajapaksa has pledged to take every measure to eliminate the drug menace from Sri Lanka. He requested the countrymen to join hands to safeguard the future generation from the evil effects of the drug menace. Because of drugs, some children lost their parents, love and attention, while some youngsters get used to various criminal activities. Some of those kids even lost their lives. The drug menace disrupts the education rights of the young generation and their happiness as well. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa recalled that he launched the Matharatita program in 2005 under his Mahinda Chintana manifesto to fight against the drug menace in the country and save the young generation from its evil effects.
Now, the Archbishop, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, expressed his displeasure over the investigations carried out by the Criminal Investigations Department on Easter Sunday attacks. The Cardinal expressed these views at a press conference held in Colombo this morning.
I would like to make a clarification with regard to some of the actions that have been noticed in the last few days, especially with regard to those who have been released from custody by the CID, those whose actions were investigated with allegations of cooperation and collaboration with the terror group of Sahran Hashim, who conducted the bomb attack way back in April 2019. Now, I would like to express my feelings of surprise and also my sadness at what has happened recently when some of the people whom the CID alleged to have had close connections with these terror leaders and business ventures involving them together, suddenly they have become like saints and they have been released. This kind of action is completely contrary to the promises that were given to us by the rulers. And also, this kind of action smacks of a political deal with these people. Therefore, I wish to express my sorrow and sadness and my complete refusal to accept this kind of activity on the part of the CID, their investigation. And I feel that it is being reduced in intensity as time goes. I have heard from within the CID also complaints that the attention given to this investigation has gone down lately. And it is in that light that on behalf of all those who died and the families and all those who were injured, both people from here and abroad, I like to express my horror at what is happening, and I would like to appeal to all people of goodwill to show their displeasure about this to the authorities. And also I would like to appeal to my Catholic people, including parliamentarians, to consider this as a bad choice and something which is against the dignity and the rights of our people.
Now, Minister Nama Rajapaksa says the government will never form alliances with racists and opportunists. He made those comments while addressing journalists in Hambantota. Minister Nama Rajapaksa was reacting to the recent media comments related to opposition parliamentarian Rishab Badiuddin. The minister said the parliamentarian participated at a regional ceremony organized by the government. Members of the United National Party also communicate with the members of the government when they visit various provinces. The minister said certain opposition members try to term this scenario as a political deal. He stressed that the government will never clinch deals with extremists and racists.
Now, the government has pledged to enhance the renewable energy sector by expanding the capacity of solar power in the national grid. State Minister Duminda Dissanayake said an additional amount of 1,500 megawatts will be added to the national grid under the new development project. A special discussion was held at the Ministry of Power today to look into the possibilities of enhancing the portion of renewable energy in the national grid. A solar panel farm which can generate 100 kilowatts of electricity will be combined with selected 10,000 transformers throughout the country within 3 years. The generation of electricity will be uplifted by 1,000 megawatts under the project. Regional businessmen will be given priority to carry out the proposed constructions, generating new regional employment opportunities. A selected 100,000 Samurdhi beneficiary families will be offered rooftop solar panels under the project.
Now, a new media program with the aim of improving the artistic talents of the youth was commenced from the Mathil district recently. The program is named as Pahan Tamber. A group of veteran artists representing music, paintings, arts, photography and poetry will visit rural areas conducting workshops targeting the youth in those areas. Young writers will be given a prominence under this program. They will be guided to make a more creative artistic ventures under the guidance of veterans. During the workshop held in Matale, the keynote address was conducted by the renowned songwriter Ratnasri Vijay Singh. Certificates were awarded to the winners of the arts and writing contest.
Now, the mega housing project for public sector employees, Overview Residencies, constructed at Vanathamulla area, Borala, will be declared open on Monday. The housing scheme is comprised with 608 houses. Overview Residencies project was launched in 2014 under the patronage of President Rajapaksa when he was serving as the Defense Secretary. Total cost of the project was 5,500 million rupees. The project was halted in 2015 and recommenced recently under the instructions of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. A 25-story housing complex building has houses constructed in two models. First category comprises with 2-bedroom houses and the second comprises with 3-bedroom houses. The housing complex has a parking lot, children's playground, 2 gymnasiums, a swimming pool and a commercial complex. Public sector employees who fulfilled a period of 15 years of service will be able to apply for the houses at the Overview Residencies. Urban Development Authority says it will construct another 5,000 housing units in selected areas within the Colombo city and its suburbs.
In the meantime, the Department of Wildlife has promised to capture the leopards roaming into villages in Central Hills and send them to wild sanctuaries. Now, measures will be taken to safeguard leopards as well as humans in those areas. Leopards roam into villages to hunt dogs and chicken during the night time. CCTV cameras mounted by villagers captured the videos of those leopards and their hunting acts. People in the Nallathania area complained about the situation to the Regional Wildlife Office. The wildlife rangers will take measures to capture those leopards and release them to a sanctuary.
Now, Germany marks the 30th National Day today. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier says Germany can be proud of the free and democratic country it has become in the 30 years since reunification. It is an achievement even the pandemic can't take away, he stated. Chancellor Angela Merkel stuck a similar stone, saying we have to be brave again today. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier today paid tribute to the courage of protesters who led the peaceful revolution that paved the way for the reunification of East and West Germany 30 years ago. Commemorations to mark German Unity Day are underway in the city of Potsdam, about 25 kilometers southwest of Berlin. Such a momentous anniversary would usually be met with fervor, but this year's festivities have been overshadowed by the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the main proceedings were taking place with far less fanfare than usual in order to keep the number of attendees down whilst maintaining social distancing. A morning service at Potsdam's Church of St. Peter and Paul were also scaled down, along with similar religious and musical events all over the country, many of which were live streamed.
And that's a wrap of tonight's Primetime News. And until we meet again next time, do take care and good night.
Good night.